Welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jacob, and with me I have Evan.
Well, howdy there.
You always you change it up a little bit each time to be like essentially the same thing, but like, anyway. So we are going to be covering Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 6 today. It's called Udun. We're going to be, just walking through things that stood out to us, things that we felt we should elaborate on. But first, we'll have a summary, and then an ad break, and then we'll go into our notes. And I didn't do it because we're not on video for you guys, but imagine air quotes around ad. So, might be
I was
something.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Evan pointed out last time, I have fun with these. You know what I was thinking, Evan? So I make a fake ad. Usually it pertains to the episode. The other percentage of the time, it's making fun of Evan. And I just have fun with it. I love doing that. It's a lot of fun because I don't show Evan until right now when we're recording. You know what I had the idea of? If we ever get actual sponsorships, I'm going to be in a bit of a pickle because I feel like I'm setting a standard of not taking anything seriously. And then if we have to take something seriously,
well, hey, if we get an actual sponsor, there's nothing saying it has to be a serious ad.
That's true. Hopefully they would be able to. Yeah, no, but anyway, I just had that thought. I'm like, I hope I would be able to.
There's nothing saying the ad has to be serious. Some people might recommend it, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. But anyway, on to our summary of the episode. I've just got a few little paragraphs here that I took the wiki and had ChatGPT summarize. So, just to give a quick rundown of what content we're covering before we get into breaking it down and talking about it. So, at night, Adar rallies his orcs and corrupted Southlanders and leads them to attack Ostirith, but Arondir destroys the tower, crushing the attackers and buying time. The next day, Bronwyn and the refugees fortify a nearby village for the next assault, and she and Arondir grow closer. It's stupid. Meanwhile, Galadriel, Isildur...
Wow.
Pretty much. They kiss. It's sweet. Anyway... Meanwhile, Galadriel, Isildur, and Elendil sail with the Númenórean fleet towards Middle-earth, reflecting on their mission and Elendil's late wife. That evening, Adar's forces strike the village. The defenders initially succeed, only to realize that they've been fighting fellow Southlanders who had defected to Adar. A second wave of orcs overwhelms them. Bronwyn is wounded, and the survivors barricade themselves inside a tavern. When Adar demands Theo's mysterious key, Theo confesses its hiding place to save his mother's life. Now, with that was a scene that I had a note on later, but it irritated me because when they're coming and they go to attack them, Bronwyn takes a solid 10 minutes, I swear to God, to light the fire. She is sitting there striking the thing nonstop and she just can't get a spark, which is fine. I get that that's probably difficult, but I was sitting there, I'm like, get it together. But anyway, and then arrows start flying and stuff and everybody dies. A lot of people die. Anyway. As Adar gives the key to Waldreg, the Númenóreans arrive. Routing the orcs, Galadriel and Halbrand capture Adar, who claims he killed Sauron. Halbrand hints at a hidden past when he asks if Adar remembers him, but gives no explanation. He and Galadriel share a brief emotional connection afterward. The episode ends with a seeming victory celebration, but Waldreg secretly uses the key to unleash a flood from a nearby dam, sending water through the orcs' trench network into underground magma veins, which the chain reaction triggers the eruption of Mount Orodruin? Doom.
Yeah.
Burying the village in
what
ash
will become Mount
and
Doom.
fire. Yes, and this is the birth of Mordor.
Yeah.
So that is our summary. Quick ad break, and we'll get into our notes. This episode is brought to you by Bronwyn's Bonds, a Middle-earth matchmaking service. Sign up today and feel the sparks. Dang it. Come on. Dear Lord, why won't...
Why is this so long?
Come on. There we go. Anyway, use code INDEPTH today and get your first month at half price. Look at that. One of Cupid's arrows. Wait a minute. Ow! Well, yikes.
Oh my. Jacob, we got to do something about it. This is like the third or fourth employee we've lost to these ads.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous work to record for us.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Well, to be fair, the other one, he didn't...
so long?
That was one of my favorites. I like that one a lot. But yeah, we should probably do something about those that we send out to record those, because the last one got frozen. He is actually thawing out, so that's nice.
Oh,
but
well,
yeah, he's I'd say he's expected to make a full recovery, but we don't really know. He's
might lose a few fingers or something, maybe.
Yeah, frostbite's kind of an issue there. Anyway.
Yeah. I've noticed it's mainly the ones they're helping us with the ads for the different Middle Earth companies.
That is true. Yeah. It seems to be primarily them. That's been
those in the galaxy far, far away. They seem a little more tamed over there. You know, not quite as many casualties for us.
That's true. Yeah, but. Yeah. It seems to be a little more contained in all. Yeah, but anyway. The first note I had was just talking about how kind of, I guess, the intricacy of the booby trap that Arondir did with the tower.
Yeah.
And I liked how in that, because he just lures them in and just collapses the whole thing. He even, when he runs out of the door as they're trying to flee, he kicks a brick, which then like pulls this 2x4 and shuts it's not 2x4, it's like a freaking huge
like a log. Yeah.
But it pulls the door shut and locks him in there as it crashes down. I also thought it was, I kind of giggled because there was the one orc that was running and there's just this giant piece of wood that just skewers him.
Yeah, and not only does the tower collapse in on the little watch post there, but it collapses down the side of the mountain too, where you can see all the
as
torches.
They're like,
all the orcs are like marching up, you know.
Yeah, and it like wipes them out too.
Yeah, I'm assuming the hope there was for it to get Adar as well, but
yeah, but it did not.
Yeah, I got quite a few orcs though.
It did.
Yeah.
You want to just go back and forth on bullet points or whatever we made?
I guess this is kind of two notes in one because they're relevant to each other. At the very start of the episode with Adar, right before him and the orcs march on the tower, he plants some of those seeds in the ground. You kind of see him dig out a little hole in the ground with his hand and plant some seeds.
Yeah.
And Arondir plants the same type of seeds later in the episode before the orcs attack the village. And I'm pretty sure this is the same seeds that we see. Is it Bronwyn give Arondir?
This is something that I don't like the phrase of. I don't like the phrasing, but my brain went there, and so now I have to share it, okay? Later on, it is the same seeds that he plants into Bronwyn. Yeah. When he cauterizes the wound. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same seed. He uses those seeds to cauterize the wound.
Yeah.
But before the battle with the orcs, when the Southlanders are in the village, he and Bronwyn plant some seeds in the ground.
Correct.
And then those same types of seeds Adar plants at the beginning of the episode before attacking the Watchtower, which is the same seeds that
Adar
Bronwyn
does.
gives to... Yeah, Adar plants some.
Okay.
Kind of like... It almost kind of made me think of him like reflecting back on his elven past.
Well,
when
yeah,
he would have
because
still considered himself an elf.
yeah, because we did see Arondir kind of explain this when he was talking to Bronwyn later on, which is one of my bullet points. It's actually the third one, so it goes in line with this. He is like, it's this elf tradition to plant before a battle, and it's kind of like you plant a seed to bring new life in defiance of death. That's very interesting seeing Adar do that. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, it's literally the very first scene of the episode, and it's like maybe 10 seconds. It's not even that long.
Cool.
So I feel like most people that watch, most people that watch probably wouldn't, take any note of it.
No, why? Because they're stupid. What are you saying?
Well, I mean, if the shoe fits. But no, it's just like it happens right at the beginning, and like I would imagine most people just probably wouldn't put too much thought into that because of everything else that happens in the episode. It's a fairly easy thing to forget about. But it was just something that struck me as odd, and especially again, like seeing Arondir kind of explain it and plant some as well later in the episode.
It is
I
interesting.
Just thought it was interesting that Adar would still follow this tradition.
There's some interesting things rewatching this that I've come up on because it's like, well, like for example with this, it starts off the episode of him doing this, and then later we see Arondir talking about it, and it's like, to me, it was one of those details where I just didn't pick up on it, and then later on, it's like, oh, this is something that the elves do, but I didn't draw the connection that this has already happened in the episode.
It's interesting to see how the start of the episode connects with something just kind of thrown in the middle of the episode to where it's like such small details of a scene that you just kind of don't think about until you have a chance to go back and rewatch it. And I mean, I think you find that in most medias, but some do it better than others.
For sure.
I thought this was a really cool and a really well done out version of that with the seeds.
My second note was actually I guess I didn't really think about it. It was just one of those things pointed out where Galadriel and Isildur are on the boat. Isildur wakes up early and he's trying to get a glimpse. He wants to see Middle Earth, because obviously we've seen that his focus is not on Numenor. Right. He wants to be elsewhere. So he gets up and Galadriel's up, and so they're talking and stuff. And she's like, you should see it in another half hour or something like that. Yeah. And she makes a comment of like, it's beautiful. And he's just like, oh, you're able to see it? And she's just like, yeah, for the past hour or so. And so then he like makes a comment like, keen are the eyes of the elves. And I guess I never thought about it being like that, like refined, like as far as distance,
The thing that cracks me up about that though, is to an extent it should not matter how good of eyesight elves have. Yeah. Because you have this thing called the curvature of the earth. Well, that would just stop you from
part
seeing.
Of that didn't sound
it's like maybe she sees like a mountaintop before everybody else does, because she just has like what's better, like 10-20 vision or whatever's better than 20/20, but it's like I don't know. There's this thing called the curvature of the earth. I just thought about this as you were saying. It's like, so how is she seeing land before it's even at the horizon?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, so I was looking at what they were trying to say, but yeah.
I've never thought about that before until you were talking about that, and it just like popped in my mind. It's like in the Two Towers, Legolas and Aragorn have that scene where, never forget. But Legolas and Aragorn have that scene where it's like Legolas, what do your elf eyes see? And he's like, the Urks turn northeast.
Yeah.
It's like, that one's explainable because they're up on a cliff and he's looking out to like open country, you know?
Right.
But it's like this one, like once the land comes over the horizon, everybody sees it. You know, it's not like she's standing up on top of a mountain and looking out and she just has that much better eyesight so she catches sight of it quicker, you know, from like a different angle. It's literally just like they're at the same angle. He can't even see a sliver of land because it hasn't breached the horizon, and she sees it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tangenting here, but that's just kind of cracks me up.
No, you're fine. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, what's your next note?
So my next note, I'm just gonna go with this one because it's right there in that same scene where Isildur and Galadriel are talking.
Okay.
Just because it kind of fits in right there with you bringing that one up. During that conversation, as Isildur and Galadriel are talking, Galadriel asks Isildur, like, why are you coming to Middle-earth? Like, what brought you aboard this ship? And Isildur makes the comment of... Because she says something about, like, Isildur needing to be humbled. Right? As it, like, asking if that's the reason. And Isildur says, like, I don't need to be humbled. I'm trying to get away from where I was. Trying to get away from Numenor. And they kind of go into it a little bit, and Isildur kind of makes the comment of, like, that's not the real Numenor, not as it was, if what it was ever really existed. Where Galadriel kind of replies and says that it did exist, as they talk about, like, I'm assuming back when, like, Numenor and the elves were talking and they were, like, buddies and stuff, you know? And so it just kind of made me think of Gondor in Return of the King, when they, like, Gandalf talks about Gondor as, like, falling into ruins, and the line of the kings failed, and Gondor's better days were behind it, you know, that sort of thing. It just kind of reminded me of that with Galadriel kind of viewing it that way, and even Isildur, who's from Numenor, viewing Numenor's better days behind them. You know, like, it's not as glorious as it once was. It's not as proud as it once was, or, you know, whatever.
Just like Toby Keith said.
Oh gosh, I know what you're talking about. It's a song, but I don't remember the exact lyrics.
I'm just waiting for you to draw the connection.
I've drawn the connection, but I'm trying to think of the exact lyrics now.
I ain't as good as I once was. Yeah, that one.
I couldn't remember if it was I'm not as good, or if it's you're not as good. I was like, which one is it? Oh God, it's been so long since I've listened to that song.
Yeah. No, anyway.
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting
honestly,
conversation.
Me neither. I don't listen to country music, but
I just thought it was an interesting conversation between the two.
Yeah.
Kind of referring to. It's kind of like the thing that I've seen online where it's like, I wish we knew when we were in the good old days so we could appreciate it more.
Oh,
you know? And so it just kind of reminded me of that, of like, Isildur is missing, or is wishing he could have been in the good old days of Numenor.
Yeah. We commented on in the summary where many of the orcs that Bronwyn and company were fighting were the other Southlanders that pledged their loyalty to, the bad guys. So that was kind of obviously a weird realization with them.
Because that's like people they knew.
Over.
Right, but that's like people they knew and grew up with. Yeah, it's like, exactly. That's their neighbors that, whether they liked them or didn't like them, they knew who they were. It's like, that's not some random guy that I didn't know. It's like, that was Chad, and he just, lost hope and
tried to kill me.
Yeah, well, it's like, that was Chad, and he just lost hope and, like, bent the knee and, was just looking to survive, and he wasn't that bad of a guy,
No, but something else I noted was I don't remember Rings of Power being as gory as it is. Now, I remember it being pretty violent because my wife did not like it.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
this scene when they attack again and the big hoss comes out and starts just
Mm-hmm.
roundhousing Arondir, and then Arondir stabs him in the eye with a piece of wood, and the juggernaut thing has him bent over the well and pulls it out of his eye and starts trying to drive it into Arondir's eye, and the entire time this thing's just Old Faithfully just
Yeah.
black goo all over Arondir's face. I'm just like, dear Lord. Like this is a bit much.
It's like that scene from 300 when the Spartans are fighting the Immortals and King Leonidas is fighting like the big berserker one. He stabs it in the eye and it like reaches up and pulls the knife out of its eye and just keeps fighting, and then it's like bent over King Leonidas trying to like stab him, and it's like drooling all over him. It's like I was drawing parallels between this episode and that movie. Specifically with that scene.
Yeah. Well, so real quick, this is a side note, but a little bit of a backstory and lore to Evan and I. Evan, do you remember actually, I've only seen 2 movies with you. Do you know what they are? Because I have a weird story for either one, both of them. You don't remember? Okay. So, question.
Was one of them...
So, one of them...
Wait, was one of them 300 Rise of an Empire or whatever?
That's what made me think of it. Yeah. Do you remember the other one?
Oh, gosh. Was it Epic Movie? No.
No.
Was it The Eagle?
No. Okay.
No,
so
okay,
it was
I
Avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I bring this up because 300 made me think of something, because you and I went and saw, firstly, I'll tell it because you are a horrible moviegoer. The first one was Avatar, and we went and saw it, and it's silent in the movie because it's just this epic scene of, like, you see the Avatar people, I forget their friggin' names. You see them, their home, the giant tree, and it's just this amazing landscape, cool shot. You get these like birds flying in and stuff, and it's just, everybody's like watching this, and Evan, you just go, that's a big ass tree in the middle of the movie theater. Nobody else is talking. It's fully audible. And so then 300, and this is what made me think of it. There was a scene in it that was of the promiscuous type. And again, quiet in the movie theater. And Evan, you just go, boobies.
You have to ask, though. Was I with you for that one? Because I remember seeing that one with my dad.
I mean, the 300?
Yeah, I saw 300 with my dad
with
in theaters. Did you? Okay. I don't remember.
I mean, we might have all
there,
gone.
but I remember seeing it with my dad, because that same scene after the movie, he was like, kind of made the comment, was like, I didn't mind the whole movie except for that scene because it was just out of place and they just threw an F-bomb in there just to put it in there. And that was like his complaint about it.
No, I don't remember the F-bomb part, but
it was something
overall,
like,
I have that standpoint.
You F-bomb better than you fight I think is what the line was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene, and honestly, any of that type of scene in movies, I pretty much have that standpoint towards, where I don't feel like it's necessary, but that was the scene, and that's what you had, at least what I remember. So anyway, that was 300. Yeah. But anyway, so back to the episode. It's your turn for a note.
I had a couple notes here that I'm just going to tie into one, because it's basically it's involving the same thing. So like watching the episode, at the beginning of the episode, as the orcs are marching up to the tower, up to Osterith, they're chanting Nampat as they're marching up and into the watchtower.
That's my next one.
And I had gotten curious. I was like, what does that mean? Like what are they actually chanting? What does that mean to them? And when I looked it up, it translates to death in Black speech, or the speech, like the speech of Mordor, of the orcs, evil. It means death. And then the other one that I wanted to double check on, because if anybody's played the Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor games, they make the reference to Udun, and in this episode, the orcs are chanting.
Title.
Yeah, it's the title of this episode, and the orcs are even chanting Udun as Waldrig activates his trap card, and
stuff starts
has the
rumbling.
volcano erupt. And I was looking it up, and the thing I found on that was Udun means dark pit or hell in Sindarin Elvish. It's not even Black speech. So I just thought that was a couple interesting things.
Yeah, and it ends up becoming pretty much synonymous with Mordor.
Yeah, because there's actually a chunk of land in Mordor. So like not all of Mordor is Udun, but there's a chunk of land in Mordor that is like Mordor is in Udun. Udun is not all of Mordor. It's like when you,
but I know what you mean.
It's like when you tell people you're from. I don't know if you want to cut it because.
Well, I know what you're going for. Where it's like
when you tell people
Illinois.
You're from, say like Illinois, and they're like, oh, Chicago. No,
and it's like
no, there's more to Illinois than Chicago.
And actually, that one's synonymous with Udun.
Well,
because I do not like. Okay, actually, I just realized. So, the hell part is what I was indicating. I do not like Chicago. I do not like. Yeah,
if
and it's not
like
whatever.
I'm from Texas, and they're like, oh, from Dallas? No, there's way more to Texas than just Dallas. It's like that thing where it's like Udun is in Mordor. Mordor is more than just Udun.
Right.
But yeah, anyways, that was just something I was curious about, was like the translation of those two words that they're chanting, just to like, what does that mean to the orcs?
Right. Yeah. No, and that's something that I...
Yeah. And then...
What I noted.
With that, I'm just going to kind of double up on notes here for a second.
No, that's fine. Take away.
Well, because like talking about those two just remind me of this one that I have here, where after Adar is captured by Galadriel and Halbrand, Galadriel is talking to Adar, and she makes the comment that Adar is one of the Morindor, Moriondor, Moriodor, the Sons of Darkness, the first orcs, which I'm assuming. Just kind of thought about this now. Morindor is probably where they get the word Mordor for.
Probably it's like home of the orcs or something, because it's like their paradise, because they don't have to worry about the sunlight.
But no, it was just kind of like the translation of Nampat and Udun, and then kind of like the translation of Morindor or Moriondor, however you pronounce it. Which she quickly like translates as well, Sons of the Dark, or the first orcs, and then it kind of goes into her talking about how Morgoth took elves and like tortured them and all these horrible things, turning them into the first orcs, which we've talked about before on previous episodes.
Yep.
But I found it interesting, though, with that, Adar's approach to it, because Galadriel even makes comment of, like, I'm going to kill every single orc out there and stop your plans to make this new home and keep you alive until the very end so you know that your race dies with you.
Yeah.
And Adar kind of makes the comment of, orcs being worthy of life and of being worthy of having a home, and even makes the comment that just like everyone else deserves those things, we as well are created by the master of the secret fire. Which, for people that remember Gandalf making a comment in the first Lord of the Rings, he is a servant of the secret fire when he's facing off against the Balrog. That's literally them referring to God of this world. To like God himself.
What was the name?
Eru Iluvatar.
Yeah.
Or Eru Iluvatar, I think it is. Yeah, something like that. I just thought that was interesting with the translations of those words and kind of the comments and things they have here. There's like hidden things in there that if you don't really know what you're looking for, you could easily miss. Because like most people watching this are like, oh, Nampat, that's something that the orcs are just chanting, whatever. You know, or
it's
like
kind of like what was the name of the giant door crusher in Return of the King?
Grond.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where they're chanting it, and it's like, man,
right?
They're just chanting something.
Yeah, but like when you do a little search into it, like even Grond is, there's more to that and into the lore of this whole world than you would think, and it's just like when Gandalf mentions a servant of the secret fire, and then when Adar mentions being worthy of life like every other creature created by the master of the secret fire. You know, it's like if you're not really paying attention or you don't look into that a little bit more, you're just not going to know what that is, and you know, you're just not going to pick up on some of those small details. So I just found that stuff really interesting in this episode.
Yeah. No, and playing off of that scene directly, like Galadriel, like I even commented on it, like as she's talking, I'm like, yeah, she's not really in the right here with how she's talking. And then he started talking. I'm like, okay, he cares for these things. Maybe their motives aren't great, but there's some degree of like, I get it. But what my point is, he comments. He says, well, it looks like I'm not the only one transformed by darkness.
Yeah.
You know, commenting that's like, you are driven by hate and you're not being nice.
Well, the thing that really intrigues me is Adar's viewpoint of this stuff. You know, because it's like Eru Iluvatar, or the secret fire, the master of the secret fire, whatever you want to call him, he didn't create orcs. You know, like that's not a creature that he created for this world that he made. Orcs were created by Morgoth, a fallen angel who directly opposed him. And so it's like, unless you're using like the transitive properties of like, you know, Eru Iluvatar created Morgoth and Morgoth created the orcs, therefore the orcs were created by Eru Iluvatar, you know, like, unless you're doing something like that, the fact that Adar comes at this with like, me and my children were created by the one, you know, God, in this world, they're not created by him, but it just intrigues me that Adar has this viewpoint that they were.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting there.
And it even goes back to the episode where Adar is talking to Arondir when Arondir is captured by the orcs, right? And he makes some of the comments of like history has been changed to the point to where like the rocks and the trees now believe it, type of deal. And so I wonder if Adar has been tricked by Morgoth, and his mind has been altered by Morgoth to believe that, you know, he and his children were created by the god of this world, when like, as we know the history, like for anybody that's delved into the lore, we would know that they are explicitly not created by him. You know, it's just like a little bit of like off topic for the episode, but it's like Ungoliant within Lord of the Rings as well, which is a giant, which I talked about during our
Mhm.
coverage of the Return of the King. The mother of Shelob, the giant spider. Like when God made, when Eruluvatar made Middle Earth and made the planet and everything like that, Ungoliant was just there. Like, there's no origin story to Ungoliant. She was just there, and no one knows how she got there, not even Eruluvatar.
Hmm.
Like, she just showed up from, like, pure darkness. And so, like, even with that, it just goes to show that, like, everything, just because you were on Middle Earth or you were on this planet does not mean that you were made by the creator, by the true creator. It's like, there's other forces at work here.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Um.
But yeah, sorry, I just found that really interesting with his mindset to
Yeah.
all that.
Well, my final note is talking about the end of the episode when the mountain has erupted. Ash is swarming in, and it's just bad. Galadriel kind of just embraces the ash as if she's just like ready to die. Like, obviously it's just ash.
I
It's
wonder...
not necessarily, but well, no, it's like cinder. It's like, it's freaking,
Yeah, it's
she
like
just kind of
volcanic ash. Volcanic cinder
so
coming down, yeah.
She just kind of embraces it, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of,
Well, and I wonder
kind of
if...
wondering where her head's at.
I wonder if she's thinking back to maybe like what Adar said to her with like, I'm not the only one changed by the dark. And then she sees this black wave of molten ash and, cinder and everything washing towards her. Because, I mean, like, it's not long before the volcano goes off that he makes that comment to her, It's like...
True.
It almost kind of plays it as maybe an hour, like not even half a day by any means. Like, it's not long. So I just kind of wonder if maybe... Because I think Halbrand even makes some comments towards her earlier in the season of, like, seeing the darkness in her and things like that when they first meet up. So, like, I kind of wonder if maybe she sees this washing towards her, this wave of darkness watching towards her, as like a physical representation of what these people have been telling her up until this point.
Maybe.
But
anyway, that was my my last note.
I think I had two more.
Okay.
Number one, I thought this one was kind of a little bit funny. So we've had dumb Theo through all of this, making all of the wrong choices. Even
in this episode. So.
Even in this episode. But then at the end of... not at the end of this episode, but as he's sitting there after the battle is over, before the volcano goes off, and Arondir comes over, and Theo says that he feels guilty for handing over the sword key, is what I'm calling it. And then finds out that they didn't actually recover it when they captured Adar. And I was like, so the guilt of your dumb decisions are coming back to bite you now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of a funny thing in the sense of, like, you've been making these dumb choices, even though, like, going back in town to get food in a previous episode, like, that needed to happen, otherwise people are going to starve. But it was like the way you went about it was just dumb.
Right.
Like, the execution of that decision was just dumb. But like it was a good thing that needed to happen, otherwise people are going to starve, but you just didn't execute very well. But like, just see him make not necessarily bad choices, just dumb choices over and over again. That if anybody's listened up until this point for Rings of Power, you've heard us talk about almost every single episode.
Yep.
And it's just like, the guilt of that is finally catching up with you, eh, Theo? And then my second note, my last one, actually, just one of them, I don't think there's too much discussion. So kind of like a half note, but Arandi are trying to break the sword key because he has like a hammer. He's like slamming on it and whatnot, and it's just not breaking.
Right.
He ends up breaking the hammer on it. I just thought it was really interesting. I'd be curious to know what kind of material that's made out of, what kind of spells are woven into it, that sort of thing. More specifics about it, just that, like, your standard tools and things don't even leave a mark, don't even leave a scratch on it, let alone a dent. I'm curious about like how it was made, what specific spells would have been like woven into it for the magic that it does do, that sort of thing. And then my other thing, the actual last one was as the Southlanders are preparing for battle there in the village, and they're like going over the plan of setting up the wagons and stationing their archers on the rooftops and all that kind of stuff. Bronwyn comes over to Theo, and Theo's like, "Where will I be?" And she's like, "With the women and children." And he's like, "I can fight." And she's like, "Yeah, that's why you're going with the women and children. You got to protect them." And I instantly went to the Battle of Helm's Deep. He is Eowyn 2.0 going with the women and children into the caves.
Yeah.
I thought it was a kind of funny parallel where it's just like, he wants to fight so bad, and Eowyn wants to fight so bad to prove herself, and he wants to prove himself. Nah, you go sit with the women and the kids and the old folk that can't fight. You just hang out where it's safe. You don't get to do your thing. There, buddy. A little pat on the head. A bullet point, but I guess we kind of did a little bit of spoiler in this episode of like the volcano going off, and now that's becoming Mordor.
Oh yeah.
But like you get that information like immediately in the following episode, so I don't think it's too much.
Also, I think that if you are watching this and it's kind of like,
right,
I think it's pretty evident that that's what's going on too. I think you can assume it.
Excuse me. Yeah, but with that though, before we get into our normal final episode kind of comments with likes and stuff, I've been doing this the last few episodes we've recorded, and I kind of like doing it at the end.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of a little closing thing. High point of the episode, low point of the episode, favorite part, least favorite part.
Low point was how much Bronwyn struggled to light a fire.
I figured with the ad.
High point was seeing Mount Doom explode. It was just such a freaking cool scene.
Yeah.
There was some cool fighting and stuff, but I feel like that's my high and low point.
Oh, excuse me. I think my low point for the episode would be right before the fighting starts in the village. Specifically because when they're showing those scenes of like Bronwyn says goodbye to Theo, because she might die in the battle, or he might die in the battle, and he goes into the tavern, and then it's showing like men and women like giving their goodbyes, hugging spouses, children, that sort of thing, and it's like it's building up to this. It reminded me very much of the prelude to the Battle of Helm's Deep. When Theoden says like every able man, boy and man, or like strong lad able to bear arms, and like the families are saying goodbye and all that kind of stuff, and it's like you get the Battle of Helm's Deep, and that is a battle. Like that is insane. It's an amazing display of cinematography and everything like that. But then it's like you got this one. It's like the fight's not bad, but it's like for the goodbyes that are being given, that for me felt like on par with the goodbyes before Helm's Deep.
The
battle kind of seemed dull.
Well, yeah, the battle was, but you got to think these are freaking farmers.
Well,
they're basically like, we're gonna fight, but we're.
The funny thing with that though is most of Rohan is farmers.
Well, okay then.
Because it's like when you watch the Two Towers, and they're preparing all the troops for battle, and they're like putting the helmets on the 12-year-old kids and stuff, and like the old men. like, they are not properly trained. They might have a little bit of a low bar of training at here, but then when you see like the royal guard of Rohan, the ones that stand next to the king, they're like way up here. For the viewers, I'm doing like a hand gesture for like a chart.
Yeah,
but
except
it's like
he's given a weird look to it, and his arm is oddly straight. It's just, I think he's doing something else. What is happening here?
But it's like, for the Battle of Helm's Deep, you have obviously like very skilled fighters like Legolas, Aragorn, Gimli, Theoden.
Mm-hmm.
In the movies, you have Haldir with the elves. You have like Gamling and those like named characters, skilled fighters. In this fight, you do have Arondir, who, as we've seen, is a very skilled fighter. You know, but it's just like, the scale of Helm's Deep for the amount of skilled fighters they have, I feel like is on scale with this fight. Because Helm's Deep is just such a big battle, you know? And so, like, scale-wise, I feel like they're on par with the amount of skilled fighters to the amount of enemies coming in. But it's like Helm's Deep, you have this insane battle that occurs, and you have this heartfelt goodbye to family members, and, like, the soundtrack is there. And in this episode, the soundtrack is there when the families are saying goodbye. But then the battle just kind of doesn't hold up, in my opinion, to like the level of sadness that the pre-battle kind of portrays.
I don't know. I felt like it was like, we are vastly unprepared. We were probably going to die.
Right.
And it didn't turn out that way, which great.
Right.
Well, it ended up turning out pretty bad, but
it kind of seems like a parallel to the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah, and if they're trying to like do the same thing, it fell short of that. But I think that the amount of sadness and the goodbye, it doesn't seem like out of place or anything, is what I'm saying.
No, I mean, like the amount of sadness, everything like that, it feels appropriate for the situation they're in. You know, it's like there's a very real possibility that all of them get wiped out. You know, it's like, I'm not saying that the level of sadness was not up to snuff. I feel like the battle itself was not up to snuff with the level of sadness before it. And because, like, this fight kind of parallels to the Battle of Helm's Deep, because it's like the initial fight, when it starts, the good guys are winning. You know, like in this, they take out the quote-unquote orcs, or the Southlanders in orc armor, and the few orcs that come in. They take them out. They sweep them off the field. In the Battle of Helm's Deep, in the beginning, that the elves are firing their arrows, the Rohirrim are firing their arrows, they're holding the orcs back. But then those ladders come up, and they hold them a little bit on the wall for a little while, but slowly but surely they get pushed back, and then the wall explodes, and they have to fall back even further. Well, here's the same thing. Like, they take out the first wave, but then that second wave comes in, and it's fall back to the keep. We gotta get out of here. We're in trouble. And then the cavalry comes sweeping in at the end to save the day in both battles. And so it did feel very parallel to Helm's Deep to me for this episode, but it just wasn't. In my opinion, it just wasn't properly like on par with where it should have been.
I see. Well, I don't know if
especially for the budget that this show got.
Dude, the budget. Dude,
the budget for this show was insane, especially for season 1.
Actually, my boss and I were talking about that today, where we're just like, it's crazy the budget that they have and how good it looks just to not have a more than mediocre story.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if I fully see your low point, but what's your high point?
My high point, I think my high point would be Numenor joining the battle. Just I've always liked that cavalry charge.
Oh yeah.
In the Two Towers when Éomer shows up.
I missed one earlier. I forgot. So kind of want to get
when Éomer shows up, the cavalry charge to save Helm's Deep, the battle for Minas Tirith, the cavalry charge from the Rohirrim, the Numenorians cavalry charge. Like, I always enjoy a good cavalry charge, and I felt like they did really good with that charge. With, all seems lost, the good guys are done for, and then the cavalry sweeps in to save the day. I think that would be my high point for this episode, followed closely by the eruption of Mount Doom.
Yeah,
that scene was really cool.
Oh, cool.
Especially when you have all the rocks crashing down and you just see people getting
just
crushed
obliterating
in the
people. It crushed a few of them.
Yeah. But
well, that is our coverage, notes and discussion on Rings of Power, episode 6 of season 1. In 2 Mondays, we will be covering the next episode. We alternate between Rings of Power and the Clone Wars at the moment. And so, yeah, maybe see you next week if you're interested in Clone Wars. But otherwise, we have a few milestones that we kind of push for things that it's like, well, we do rewards, basically, where it's like, there's a lot of stuff that gets cut out of an episode. There's a lot of bloopers because we are dumb. And so every 1,000 downloads that we have on the podcast, we release a blooper reel. We've done 4 of them so far and haven't had one in a little while. But that being said, we've taken like year breaks and stuff. So either way, so how you can help with that is share this around. If you enjoyed it, then share it with some friends. If you want to interact with us live and in a live stream, go ahead and leave us an Apple Podcast review. If you want to see a full sea shanty about Evan being a predator, follow us on Spotify.
Don't follow us on Spotify. I beg you, please don't do it.
Watch
please,
listen to Rings of Power episode 3 if you're interested in what on earth I mean by that. But anyway, other than that,
I think at this moment we still are at 14 of those Apple reviews as well. At the time of this recording,
I thought it was 11.
14. Is it 11?
I think we had 14 to go.
Dumb. I'm probably dumb.
Yeah, he said it, not me. But
find
anywho,
Apple podcast, I could tell you. Probably right there where it says Apple Podcast.
But yeah, that's kind of what we got going for. If you are on Spotify as well, they have a comment section. Let us know what you thought of the ad. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Just chat with us.
By the way, Jacob, you were right. We are at 11. I'm just dumb.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What'd you say?
You're wrong, and I'm always right.
That's crazy.
And I don't know why you would think we would have 14 reviews when we only have 11.
But that's
14
what you
more
said.
reviews, and we will have that live stream that Jacob was talking about.
Anywho, nope, that's it though. So see you in 2 weeks if you're only here for Lord of the Rings. Otherwise, see you next Monday.
Toodles.
Deuces.